YouTube. Hey, one person. Wait, where you the two left off the room? Hey, YouTube. I'm waiting for y'all to come on in the room. I got some news. Some important information. Ooh, take off this monkey suit. Come on in the room. Hit the thumbs up. And if you come on in the room, I appreciate it. Free admission.
We have some breaking news tonight on former President Clinton. We just learned he was hospitalized on Tuesday. His spokesman says he was admitted to UCI Medical Center, that's in California, Irvine, to receive treatment for a non-COVID related infection. He's on the mend, in good spirits, and is incredibly thankful to the doctors, nurses, and staff providing him with excellent care. For more now, let's go to our chief medical correspondent, Sanjay Gupta. He is still in the hospital.
Hey, y'all. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up as you enter the room. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so he went in on
comment,
Tuesday,
comment, and subscribe.
Members of his staff and also to his doctors.
I'm just hearing on the background. President Clinton was admitted to the hospital Tuesday night.
Foundation was not feeling well and was taken to the hospital.
Today's Thursday. They've been saying that today.
At that point, was tested. As you mentioned,
please let everything be fine with the president.
Seemingly not related to his heart. He's had heart surgery, as you know, in the past, Chris, including a heart operation in 2004 and a stent in 2010. What they think is going on with the former president now is a blood infection, sometimes known as sepsis.
Blood infection.
An infection that is now being treated with IV antibiotics. And what they're saying is that he is responding well to those antibiotics. He's actually been increasingly mobile.
Come on in the room, y'all. Just want to wait for a few more people to come on before I could give you some information.
Seems to be in good spirits,
especially those who got student loans.
Antibiotics at least for another day. He'll remain in the hospital at least for another day, and at that point they're going to reassess. But it is possible, again, just talking to his doctors just now, that he could be released from the hospital tomorrow. So there's still some details that are coming in, but that's sort of the gist of it. Non-COVID related, seemingly non-heart related, a blood infection, they called it, often known as sepsis, but responding well to antibiotics.
Now, sepsis is something you hear about people getting in the hospital more often than they go to the hospital for it. How is that something that can occur?
Well, it can come from different routes in the body. Sometimes it can start as an infection elsewhere, and then that infection will spread to the bloodstream. What happens is a person is not feeling well, they'll check the blood and find if there's the presence of an infection. At that point, sometimes they'll trace the source. What the doctors have said is that he did have a episode, it was actually sepsis, meaning that it was clear that the infection was actually in his blood as opposed to localized in one area of the body. But that is something that's responding, again, according to his doctors, to IV antibiotics. So you treat, you put the antibiotics into the bloodstream, and it usually can be treated if it's caught early enough. And
Hey, it keeps coming in and out. What happened?
So
This is two people, now it's down to one. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes. Go ahead and say hi in the chat so I can know who's in here.
Not necessarily that he's in critical condition. He's not on a breathing machine or anything like that. And they say that he could potentially get out of the hospital tomorrow.
We are establishing a new Amazon minimum wage of $15 an hour.
Amazon employees earn at least $15 an hour, but $15 is just the start. That's why we pay more where the cost of living is higher. That's why we provide healthcare on day one. That's why we offer up to 20 weeks fully paid family leave. We'll keep doing a better job for our employees, whether they're here for a season or a career. So we'll continue rolling out new improvements.
Hey y'all, come on in. I'm gonna start in a few minutes. I know y'all like to come on at the last minute, so give 2 more minutes. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Not gonna hurt. It's free. Okay, so once it gets to 1 more minute, then I'm gonna start talking. Y'all just have to hit the replay. All right, hey y'all. Y'all coming on in. Hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna start the next few minutes. Countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome. Now I know you said, why you not at work? Let me get that out the way first. So they offered VTO. I wasn't even there for an hour before they started asking people who want to leave to go home early. So I worked an hour and I said, I'll take it because 1, I had to go and do an assignment with survey, and 2, I figured in the next coming month, it's going to be off the chain. I'll be extremely busy, especially when December comes, when I have to do my refresher training for TurboTax. And then January and all the way up until April, May, I'll be extremely busy because I will still be working at Amazon and working TurboTax and do my other things that I've been doing. So I said, let me, so this little logistics things with shipment is really affecting those trucks going to those facility centers. And it's easier to say, okay, let me stay, do whatever work they give. I mean, it's not like we were standing around or anything, but it's gonna come later on in the evening where it's gonna be no work and you'll be standing around and then it's gonna be dragging on. And like I said, I'll work tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. I haven't worked a full 3 days yet, but between doing that and my classes at Generation during the daytime, from 9, from 11 till 7, basically. I hate the fact that Thursdays and Fridays, I have to cut it short because I have to go to work, but this is getting a little bit silly. I could have stayed at work, but I figured it gets to a point where my body's going to need the rest. And 2, it's not like I don't have any money set aside because, I do. So as long as I'm able to make income, because I could make just as much with the survey and all the other apps that I do, even in the evening time, even though, Monday through Friday from 11 to 7, I may do a couple of things after that, but, it ain't really that bad. It really isn't. But anyway, let me start. So, for those who have student loans, federal student loans, boy, when I read this on CNN today about what they plan on doing with the forgiveness program. Now, let me tell you how it works now. It's basically eligibility is based on if you worked either for an eligible organization like a nonprofit organization or a federal agency or state teachers or firefighter public service. So it's a public service student loan forgiveness. And what it is that if you had 10 years of payments or eligible of 120 on-time payments for 10 years, and you are a federal employee, state employee, teacher, or public servant worker, because working for the public sector, you don't get paid a lot of money when you work for the government, whether it be state or federal, unless you had one of those high GS ratings. But overall, you don't really make a lot of money when you work for the federal government or state government or a nonprofit for that matter. So when they first started the program, it was started back in 2007. And it was a lot of people were denied the federal public service forgiveness. People was working for the public servants as a public servant, and they were denying a lot of these applications. And then people were not able to fall into that program. So today, when I was reading I'm waiting for my phone to charge up because I could really go on my phone and go over it. But let me tell you what happened today. So after I read it, y'all know I worked at the IRS for over 10 years, right? At least 10 years. And when I was a federal employee, I had applied for that forgiveness. And I made 120 online payments. It was automatically taken out of my bank account. So that way I don't miss not one day. I made one whole year of payments based on my income and the debt ratio. And so that was 1 year. So that means I had 9 more years to go. So prior to that 1 year, when I made that 1 year of payments, previous months or previous years, I would have fell under that program when they first started. Now it said this started back in 2007. And let me see, it had started like in 2007. I'm trying to find me let me see, hold on a second. Let me go back.
Amazon employees earn at least $15 an hour, but $15 is just the start. That's why we provide healthcare on day one. We'll keep doing a better job for our employees, whether they're here for a season or a career.
Men are abandoning higher education in record numbers. Women make up nearly 60% of college students, with men at 40%. That's the largest gender gap in the history of American higher education, and it's getting wider. And it's basically a reversal of where things stood a half century ago. In the fall of 1970, men accounted for nearly 59% of U.S. college students, with 41%. Last year, American college.
So anyway, if you go to, it's on CNN.com, it's also in MNBC.com, money, and you just Google it. And it was passed Wednesday, which was yesterday. So basically what it is a waiver that you could apply to. And because a lot of criticism was criticized because back in when they started it, a lot of people were not able to apply, or they were not really clear in regards to this student loan forgiveness under public service. So basically, if you worked for a nonprofit, state, federal agency, you could go to the Department of Education website, and if you go look at your W-2 or tax return, and you could put the EIN number and see if the organization you work for qualifies. So you don't have to be a current employee, but they're retroactively backdating eligibility. So let me give you an example from me. Now, I was working at the government in 2006 to 2016. So when they started it back in 2007, any payments that I've made from 2007 to 2016, because I only had 1 year of on-time payment, so I only had 9 more years to go, right? I had 9 years to go. If I was to continue to work for the federal government or a state agency or whatever, and it would just pick up where it left off at, and then I had 9 years to pay. Hey, Sharky. and then the debt of my student loans will be forgiven. So when I read it today, I was on the phone all day waiting to get somebody on the phone from the student loan um, that has my student loans. And I was asking about it. Now, of course, they're going to say, we don't have, we didn't get further information yet for the Department of Education. We're still, we still going through that or whatever. So I went online and I applied, filled out the information. It said I qualified. So when I called, I finally got a hold of someone on the phone. I said, call me back. So I spoke with someone this evening, and then they were saying, oh, yes, you're already in the system, that you were certified for the eligible agency. Because, see, as long as it showed the dates of my eligibility till the time that I left. So I said, well, what do I have to do now? Do I submit any paperwork or whatever? So basically, I don't really have to do anything. But it said that even if I was on forbearance during that time, then they will count that towards your time. So if I have 100 payments, for instance, out of the 120, then I just have 20 more payments to go, as long as I work for an eligible nonprofit organization or state agency, government agency, for my loans to be forgiven. So at this point, it's a matter of them, it just happened. It just happened just yesterday that they they issued a waiver. So let me see. I'm gonna go and put the link in here. Hold on a second. Let me get the link. Get out of here.
Men are abandoning higher education in record numbers. Women make up nearly 60% of college students, with men at 40%. That's the largest gender gap in the history of American higher education, and it's getting wider. And it's basically a reversal of where things stood a half century ago. In the fall of 1970, men accounted for nearly 59% of U.S. college students, women 41%. Last year, American colleges enrolled 1.5 million fewer students than 5 years ago.
All right, I'm back.
71%.
So I'm going to put this in the link. It's really a statement. So let me put that in there.
Applications for the most recent
hell, too many words.
3.8 million to 2.8 million. So where have all the men gone, and why?
What we don't talk about is the existential threat this presents to society. We talk a lot about income inequality. We have mating inequality in this country. 1, 2, and 3 relationships start on Tinder. 50 men, 50 women. 46 women show all their attention to just 4 men. And what do those 4 women have? They signal success with a college degree. So you're going to have the most dangerous person in the world is a broke and a lone male. And we are producing too many.
What are they talking about? Let me
mating
take
inequality that's going to come
They're
out.
talking about some college women and got other things to worry about. Yeah, anyway. So I put in the chat, it's like a snippet that I was reading, and I know it's kind of choppy. So to qualify for the public service loan forgiveness, borrowers must have the right kind of federal student loan, be enrolled in the correct type of repayment plan, and be employed full-time in a qualifying public sector job while making 10 years of monthly payment. So basically what it's saying is that um, not private student loans, it has to be one of those student loans that was due like a Stafford loan or government backed by the government student loans. So can't be private student loans or anything like that. And you had to make 10 years of monthly payments. So when I made that 1 year monthly payment, it was 1 year that was added on. So at that point, I didn't know about it. I said, well, I know I asked a couple months ago. I said, you know what, that don't seem right. How I've been working 10 years or so, and they telling me I can't go back to previous years when I was employed in the federal government. And they said, well, you was on a forbearance, so, and I was on a like any type of payment plan or forbearance. So that didn't count. So I said, okay, well, whatever. So, I continued to make the payments 1 year, and then that's when I got let go. And then I didn't go back to a private sector. So say for instance, for those who qualify, they may be able to go back and give you credit for the time I've been under forbearance. So if I was 8 years in and I had 8 qualifying years, they would add that to the 1 year. So I'll have 9 years of qualifying payments. Now, it wouldn't be forgiven because it has to be 10 years. So I said, how long is it going to take before they update that? Because this just happened. How long is it going to take to find out? So I don't have to submit anything because I'm already in the system with my time. It was my employment was certified already because I had it certified. And they're just going to go back on those years from 2006 all the way to 2016. Now, the thing started in 2007. So from the time they first came out with that program, 2007, till 2016, they're going to see how many payments I've made. They'll go back and see how many payments you made, as long as it's a federal student loan, and 2, your agency is included, meaning you go and put in the EIN number. And if you work for a nonprofit organization, if you work for a state, federal, teacher, nurse, doctor, lawyer, for a federal or a state agency or nonprofit. But I don't say lawyers because, no, because there are people who were lawyers. They don't get paid a lot of money, especially if you work for the state or something like that, or a nonprofit. So I don't know what's going to happen. So just want to share that to let y'all know. And if you do a Google search, public service forgiveness,
Good mood, good food. Hello Fresh. Use code VOD14 for up to 14 free meals.
Okay. All right. I was going back reading. Hey, Colas. I was going back reading about this that forgiveness loan program. So basically, the reason they going back to okay. So the reason why they going back was because a lot of people were given wrong information. I know I was given wrong information because they told me the same thing. Basically, the story I was just reading was this one um, person, lady, she was going to graduate school, got PhD, had like over $100,000 in student loans, and she planned her career working for the private sector. You know, she worked at the University of Florida, and she was making, payments for like 6 years and making sure she was on right track that those payments qualified. So she was making these payments for like 5, 6 years, and they said that the payments didn't qualify, because um, she was told, and it was Great Lakes, and I had a student loan with that company too, Great Lakes, and I finished paying on one of my loans with them at one point. So they was get all these loan providers through the years was giving people wrong information, confusing information, saying, "Oh, you have to consolidate the student loans in order to be under the for the forgiveness program, and you have to make 120 on-time payments for it to be forgiven." And all this kind of information was given, and information about going on forbearance and all, it was all incorrect information. So yesterday they decided that there was going to be a waiver. So, and I already went online, and they already said I was certified because I did work with the IRS, and it showed 1 year of 1 year of credit towards the 120 payments. But when I was given information, oh, you have to consolidate your student loans. Then you had to, it doesn't qualify for the credit towards 120 payments and all that other kind of stuff. So because of all this mixed up, and people been paying student loans, working for a government sector or a private sector, nonprofit organization, they now announced yesterday that they could retroactively go back and see that you qualified for the program. So I said, well, so my question when I spoke with someone, I said, well, I worked for the government for like 10 years or so, and I was under forbearance, and then I entered into at one point I entered into the income base, income base. My income was based upon what my monthly payments on my student loans would be. So they said that they're going to go back on people to see if they met the qualifications. You don't have to be a federal employee or work for a nonprofit now. If you did in the past, and you were under any type of forbearance of some sort, and you weren't told about it, then they're gonna go back and see how many payments you made and see how many months you was under the program. Even if you didn't make any payments, you may qualify for credit of those 120 payments made. Now, if you meet the 10 years, and they're gonna be doing this in a few months, they're gonna notify you. They said, I said, how are you gonna get notified? So they said that they'll notify you in email, and they'll tell you how many payments you qualified under to make. So if I have, and I'm giving an example, if they told me I have 110 payments qualified, even when I was under a deferment, shoot, then all I have to do is one, I could start my own nonprofit organization and be full time. And I knew this for a couple of years ago. I knew that if you establish a nonprofit organization of some sort, which I'm going to probably do some research on. I know how to do a nonprofit organization. You just have to go to IRS, get a tax ID number, come up with what you want to do as a nonprofit, and go from there. So if they come and tell me I had 110 payments and say I was 10 months short, I will I will either find me a job full time working for a nonprofit organization or a church or a state job. I don't care if it was sweeping the floor, because they didn't say what type of job you had to do, as long as you work for a nonprofit or a state agency or federal agency. I will find me a school, because all these teachers and stuff was quitting. I will find me a job working at a public school. I don't care if it was, as long as it's full time. I'll find me one of those full time jobs as a teacher's aide or let's say it was even I don't want to do, because you do school bus driving, you have to take the tests and stuff like that. I'll find me the most convenient federal or state or nonprofit job somewhere, as long as they hire me full time. And I will work there until I get the 120 payments, and that will be it. So I just want to give y'all that information. And I don't know, I got to go back and review the time. For some strange reason, I might be short, but I don't know, because if they said 2007, let me see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Dang. That might be 9 months. No, that would be 9 years. And maybe some months I might be short. I might be short by 9 months and I might be short by less than a year. So all those payments I made, I may have to find me 9 months or 10 months and continue that public service and find me a position to qualify. I may have to find me something. I have to find me a way. Now, Generation is a nonprofit organization. So I wonder if I could ask, if I put my resume in and let's say they're looking for instructors. Ooh, my hair look like a mess. Say they're looking for instructors. I probably could ask them if I could do that. I don't care what they pay me. As long as I'm full time and I could rack up a year or the number of months that's needed, I'm gonna find me a way, y'all. Even if I have to start my own nonprofit organization and do it full time, and establish it in some way. Not to say that, I want to start a full nonprofit just to get my student loans wiped off, but I could do two stones with one bird. Kill one bird with two stones. What is it saying? Kill one bird with 2 stones or something, whatever. That might be something that I could really think about doing. But yeah, so let me see if I find me something. See if I put the link and y'all can read it. Mhm. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna put the okay. I got the link in the chat. And the chat and the link is gonna really go over it. But it was just passed. So they said it was so difficult for people to qualify, and people been making payments and all these things for years. They going back retroactively back. So you, like I said, you don't have to be a current employee, but if you were a federal employee, work for a nonprofit organization in the past, you may be able to qualify. So they just announced it today. So a lot of people may be eligible, even if you were denied in the past, because I know they told me, oh, you have to consolidate your student loans. Oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, and it was wrong. It was all these years. I've been working for the government, working for the federal government, and I'm sitting here thinking, I said, well, what about the previous years? And I remember asking them. I said, well, what about the previous years? Well, you was under forbearance and you can't qualify. We can't go back all this time. I said, what about the other payments I made? So now they have to go back and count that time. And boy, they're going to send out letters and notices about it. So hopefully, if I check my mailbox, that I get something from the Department of Education, because I be getting letters and stuff and don't even open it. So I said, shoot, I'm going to make sure I look through my letters and my mail and I see Department of Education, boom. I probably got something right now that talked about it. But no, it would have been too early. I'm going to be looking at my mailbox, that's for sure. So now, if you made the payment, say you made it and you made plus more, they're not going to give you your money back. They're not going to go back and give you your money back. Now, if you made the payments during this COVID, when it was suspended, when they had suspended the interest, and during the COVID relief that they stopped it, it's going to count as well. So even if you were, those payments will be counted as well from last year till now. So there may be possibilities that a lot of people are going to have a heavy burden off their chest about these student loans. So now I don't know what the tax implications would be, because I said if they've given these student loans after 120 payments and the remaining student loans is forgiven, now that part is what I need. Now that part is going to be, what are they going to do with that? Are they going to consider that income? Are they going to tax Are they going to tax that amount if they forgive student loans and you made 120 payments? Is that going to be taxed? That's the question. So, but I'll give y'all some more further updates about it. But just want to, just go on that article that I put in there, and you'll be able to get more answers to that question. But again, it is the Public Service Loan Forgiveness, and you could go to studentaid.gov. Let me put that in, studentaid.gov. Studentaid.gov. So go on there. You'll get some further information. You could just go and fill out the information, click on it, and it will tell you if the organization qualifies under that public service forgiveness. And if you were ever certified in the past, they already have that information in the system. So for me working at the IRS, it was already in their system, and it was already certified. So I don't have to go back and contact the IRS to recertify that I worked there from 9-10 years ago. Is already certified. So they just gonna go back. Now they gotta go back and count the number of payments I made, even if I didn't make a payment, but I was under a forbearance or income-based driven program at any given time. They'll go back and count it, because I know I made me some payments. Now, I may not have made 100, 200 payments, but I know I made at least a year and some more. But once they tell me how much payments I made, how many more payments I got to go, let them tell me 10 payments, 12 or something. I'm telling you, my plan is going to be, one, start me a full-time nonprofit organization, run that during the day. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a nonprofit and I find me an organization and I say, I'm not going to volunteer. I say, you could pay me. I don't care if they pay me $10 an hour. I will work for a nonprofit organization for so many months. And just to get that amount, before I choose an organization, I'm going to make sure I look on the list. I say, let me see if they qualify on the list. And I'll go up there and work. I don't care. Do you need a janitor, someone to sweep the floor, clean? I don't care what it is. It's not depend on the job. It's where you work and how much you get paid, because they're going to base, your payment based on your income. So if you pay low income or you don't make as much money, and they say, okay, based on your income and your family size, your payment is $5 a month, but you working for that nonprofit organization or government agency or state agency for a year, full-time, it has to be full-time, then it will count. It will count. At one point, a lot of people had to start all over. See, a lot of people were working 5-6 years, and they said, no, you don't qualify. And they were telling people you had to start all over again. You can't break the cycle. So because of all this mix-up, what the hell? Because of all this mix-up, they had to revise and open it up for people to qualify. So I don't know how many people they said this is affected or whatever the case may be. So I knew something was strange when I said, well, I've been working for years. You're telling me that all these years I worked for the government, taking these low paying jobs and working. Because I remember I even called Dave Ramsey show, and I was like, it's the best that I continue to work for the government or a nonprofit, even though I get paid lower pay in wages. or should I just go and try to seek another job that could pay me more money so I could be able to pay my student loans off? I said, I've been paying these student loans for the last 10 years, 11 years, making payments, making payments, making payments. And when I first qualified for that federal loan forgiveness, when they said, oh, you got 1 year, you got 9 more years to go. I said, what about the previous years? What about those payments? I said, I've been working for the federal government all these years. You're trying to tell me none of those payments would count towards this 1 year credit of 1 year payments? And that didn't even sound right. It didn't even sound right. And I was reading one of the stories, one of the ladies that they was talking about. I said, that's the same thing happened to me. They told me the same thing. You had to consolidate your student loans in order, and you had to put it in a payment plan forbearance, and da 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 da. I said, that's the same thing happened to me. Same thing. And I was like, that don't make any sense. I said, no. I remember talking to them at least a couple of years ago, and I was like, I said, well, what about the other loans? What about the other payments? I said, I've been making payments all this time. You telling me none of that won't count towards anything? I said, no, something didn't sound right when I first was told. I was not, And let me tell y'all one thing. I'm gonna say this one thing. Please do not now. See, this is where it's gonna open up for a lot of scams. A lot of people is gonna take this information. They're gonna get on YouTube. Oh, I got a master class on how to apply and get your student loans forgiven under the new rules. See, they're gonna see somebody's gonna try to make up some little ebook and try to sell information and charge people for this information that's free. I'm giving y'all this information that's free. And I'm basing it on my experience. And I also put some links in the chat, but I'm also put some in the description. So if y'all so happen to come across my channel and you Googled student loan forgiveness and you come across my live chat, I appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, because one thing about me is I'm not going to try to run no scam. I'm not going to try to do no kind of, let me make up, because I'm going to tell you, it's somebody right now. Just like that PPP loans, the PPP grant. When I told people this, when I first told people this a year ago, when the grant program, Ely grant, I said, all right, y'all know y'all qualified. How many you made? What do you mean? I don't understand your question. You can't get it. That's over with. Colas, stop talking. Stop being funny. You know you want no damn PPP loan. I told people about this Elite grant, and I said, all right, I even went online. I even went over the whole screen and told people how to apply. And I remember because David was in the chat and people were following through, and he keep asking me questions. And I said, stop asking me questions, just follow through. And let me check with my accountant. Let me check and ask, and I'm telling y'all, it was straightforward. It was like $1,000. At the time, they was giving people emergency $1,000. And I was told by Avon, who told me, because I ain't even was thinking about no grant and things like that. So she told me, and I said, okay, let me go ahead and apply. And luckily for me, when she told me, within 2-3 weeks, I got the $1,000 in my account. And I started, so I have to thank her for telling me, because I probably would have missed out. But somehow or another, I would have found out eventually. But I was told, and I looked it up, and I applied. I shared that with y'all and told y'all, because I knew a lot of y'all was working the gig jobs. Because I said, if you do Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, you may qualify for the grant. It wasn't even no PPP loan, because I was telling people, don't do no loan. That's a grant to pay for payroll. That's not for just to get a loan in PPP. I told people, don't do it. So I didn't charge y'all. I didn't ask for no money. I didn't make up no masterclass like some people on YouTube were doing a masterclass on the Elite grant and the loan, PPP loan. And right there on the application, it says, "Did you pay anyone to did you pay? Were you paid, or did you receive? Or did you pay a fee to someone to help you with this application?" That's why those people got scammed when they was doing that PPP loan fraud, and it wasn't so no. You had to be millions and millions of dollars in PPP loan to get caught. And the grant, the grant, they're gonna check. They're gonna ask you for certain information to see if you qualify for the grant, more so than the loan, but both. Not too many people ran no scam with no grant because you had to file a tax return, Schedule C, and you had to had 30% loss from the previous. It was a whole lot of things, but I went over that. I'm not going over that again because number one, there's no more PPP loan. There ain't no more grants. There's only SBA loans, and that's not PP. So that's the only thing they got out, and that program been ended months ago. Couple months ago. But I remember telling y'all, I told y'all about it. So don't say, "Oh, I just came across your video and I didn't know that because it's a waiver. Is everything got a deadline, everything got a time frame. Everything got a time frame. But don't let people don't fall for the foolery, because see, somebody always be trying to steal my damn topic. By they get a hold of something on YouTube and everybody start trending. Then everybody else start making it up. Now, I ain't edit no video. As you can see, the same junk that's in the background, bicycle in the back, hair looking crazy. I ain't edit no video. I'm not monetized, nothing. I'm just sharing with information, and even put the article in the link. But don't let nobody. I could see it happening already. People gonna be running the scam. We could forgive 6 figures of student loans. Just give us $2,000 and we could take care of it. And we could do this and we could promise you this and that or whatever. Hold on a second. I smell something burning. Hold on. Hey, I'm back. I'm eating me a smoked sausage hot dog on the Kroger brand Hawaiian hot dog bun. It tastes so good. Who knew? That they have a Hawaiian brand hot dog bun. You know, like that Hawaiian buns and stuff. They have a Kroger brand because, you know, I went to the grocery store last night and boy, even bread was expensive. I had to find me the cheapest two for $5 or something for bread or something. So I had to find me the Kroger brand. So I guess when I buy bread now, I gotta find me either Publix brand or now Aldi's bread has never really been expensive. But since I didn't go to Aldi's, and went to Kroger, I had to resort to Kroger brand. Now I always bought Kroger brand milk, you know. But I said, well, dog, they ain't had no kind of, you know. Usually when Publix have BOGO, buy one, get one free, when they got their sale, Kroger's don't have no sale. When Kroger's have a sale, Publix don't have no sale. But I didn't see nothing at the Kroger's, nothing, no kind of 10 for 10. I mean, it was certain things, but nothing really stood out for a sale. And then when I went to the register, my stuff was $25 and some change. And it done. I bought me the Milo sweet tea. I bought 2 gallons of those. One was not unsweet tea. It was no sugar. So I said, let me see what this tastes like. So I didn't finish drinking. I didn't drink it yet because I still got the other Arizona diet tea with green tea with peach. I still got some of that. So I bought me some bread, whole wheat bread, these hot dog buns, the smoked sausage. Then I bought this big 5 pounds of hot dogs. It was like $3 and some change. I said, ooh, let me buy this. So it was it was cheap, not cheap tasting, but it was a good size. One thing of Pringles. And that was it. I was like, well, dang. I didn't hardly buy nothing. It was kind of pricey. So I went to the register before they closed. Now, Kroger closed at 11 now. They changed their hours. Now they closing at 11. They went from midnight. Hey, Shelly Shell. My phone went dead when I was talking. That's why I said, I know you probably figured my phone went dead. So the phone. So I'm there. They had the one register. One girl, she was on the register before she closed. After I went through, she closed and turned off her light. She's going to throw my stuff in the bag, all kind of crazy. And I said, excuse me, can you double this? Not double it. Can you rebag this milk? Because she put it in sideways. You know how when you put groceries in a plastic bag, rather than you having it where you just grab it, she had it all on the side where it could tear the bag. And it would look like it was about to tear. You want me to double it? I said, no, I need you to rebag it because you got this thing it's tearing. And she, Then she's gonna slap my receipt on the counter and all. I was like, man, speak to the manager. So she go over there. Man, it was a young guy. He's standing at the register. No, he's taking money out the machine. So I said, well, I need a corporate number or who's the store manager? Because I want to speak to the real manager. He was some young guy. Well, you can tell me what happened. I said, no, because I'm quite sure she told you because she went over there and started. You know how people, they know they're going to try to say what they did or whatever. And I didn't even say anything. All I wanted to do was get the groceries and go home. And that's it. So I looked at my bread and then I was like, I need another bread because, it looked like it was going to be smashed up or whatever. So he went, well, you going to get it? I said, no, I'm not walking through the store. You could, so he went, he got me another bread and then he ended up saying he going to give me my money back. The bread was only like $2 and something cents. So he ended up giving me $10 gift card or whatever. I think that's what it said, $10 gift card or whatever. And I was there. I said, shoot, y'all should reimburse me back for all my groceries. So not just give me $2 and something cent. What the hell am I gonna do with that? So I think things said $10. So I want to say it was at 10. Let me see. I didn't really look at it closely, but I want to say it was 10, but it seemed kind of strange how he had it. But I'm about to call that corporate store number tomorrow. I still got my receipt. Now I'm not going to just let you like ain't nothing going to happen. You're already closed. So I don't know why you're getting an attitude. And then you're going to put my stuff in a bag all kind of crazy. People just, too much. I don't even know how much this thing is worth. Oh, $10. So that's what it was. I got so many little gift cards here and there that got balances on them. I got one for Best Buy. That's $25. I got a bunch of things from TJ Maxx. It was an e-gift card, but I didn't print the print. I didn't have the PIN number, so now I gotta print my little gift card and ask them what the PIN number is when I call Marshalls or TJ Maxx or Home Goods. I could buy any of those stores because they all by the same company. So I think I got like $75 worth of gift cards and stuff total. I haven't even hardly used it. I said, let me use these things up before I'm not going to lose it because I could always go back. I got them to TurboTax. So I could always go back and call up the company and get the PIN number so I could use them. But I'm going to wait and see what I'm going to use it for. I don't know what I want to buy. I don't want to buy clothes per se because one, when you go to these department stores now, they hardly don't even have clothes per se. They say, because clothes and stuff is affected in the logistics and shipment. You go to a store, you don't see a whole bunch of clothing and stuff. All that stuff made in China and those factories closing and stuff. You don't see a whole lot of clothes. So, but yeah, I got TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Target. That's another one I gotta use. Target. I got a $25 gift card from Target because the girl, plus some other things I had on there. So I got the Target app, so I can actually order online, see what I want, and then turn around and go to the store, pop the trunk, and they'll bring my stuff to the car. But anyway, there's so many ways of having to save money. You have to save money these days because let me tell you, if I could get out of these student loan debts within the next less than 5 years or 4 or even a couple months, let me find out if they tell me all 10 years of me working there, or 9.5 years, or I want it to be 10 years. If they tell me, oh, your loans have been cleared, I would be so happy. I would come on here and give y'all a follow-up and tell y'all what happens. Now, it may take a minute before I get, because they just started it yesterday. So, but let them tell me let them tell me it's 3 months remaining, 2 months, 9 months. Even if it's 9 months, I'm gonna find me, and it don't have to be no, I don't care what it is. It could be a nonprofit, state agency, government. And let me tell you, I know the state of Georgia's hiring. They hiring. I know I said I was not going to go back and work for a state agency, but if it's a year, 9 months, I'll find me something. I'll find me something on a nonprofit. I will go to the nearest church and say they be hiring teachers. And I said, do y'all need anyone to help, a teacher's aide? They ain't got no license. Teacher's aide, someone to clean. I don't care what. I said, do y'all need a janitor? I don't care. I will be the night janitor as long as it's full time. Now, it could be a combination. It don't even have to be one organization. I could work at one place full time or part time. They said as long as you're working full time and you work for a nonprofit organization or state federal agency, it qualifies. There's the list. It'll tell you. It will tell you. Let them tell me. Let them tell me it's less than a year. I'll find me a place. I sure will. I could work at Amazon 3 days a week, and I could find me another full-time job at a nonprofit or whatever. I'm gonna still finish Generation. Now I'm gonna ask them if they have any openings or something or some sort, because that's a nonprofit organization. I know they on the list. So, because there are several different, I even asked them about Maximus when I was working for the CDC, that contract during the summer. Maximus has a foundation. It says Maximus Foundation. And I said, I worked at Maximus and I was wondering if they are included. I was wondering if they were included. You know what? I'm going to put them on the list because I asked if it was included. They told me it was, but I don't know if it had to be Maximus Foundation or is it all covered under Maximus. But let me find out if Maximus is on the list. I'll put that 3 months included in that payment too. And it would probably include because it was temporary, and I just have to give y'all updates. I just have to see I just have to see if I fit. I sure hope I do. I really hope I do. I hope it does. But whatever it is, I'll take it. Even if it has to go by based on the income base plan, and I say, how many more payments do I got to go with that? How many more do I have to go? And they tell me 3-5 years, I'll do anything. I sure do. I would do anything because I've been, I invested in going to school and education and don't get me wrong. When I first went to college, I did have a scholarship. I wasn't going to be in no student loan debts, but it was until I really went and transferred, got my, hey, Sally. When I went to South Carolina and when I went to my MBA, and in between I was going to school here and there too. I know University of Phoenix got in trouble one time. I wonder, man. I'll tell anybody in this age, trying to improve on yourself, you don't need to go to school. I think that was the problem. Many people within my age or generation and even the ones in the last 10, 15 years went to college, especially black folks. We went to college because it was like, oh, you had to go to college. Oh, just to be a slave to the debt of student loans. Millions of people fall into that. Millions of people. And I'm not talking about no 10,000. I don't know $10,000. I wish I owed $10,000. I know you could work a part-time job somewhere. It ain't got to be customer service. It ain't got to be sitting on the phone. You could get a part-time job and devote working a part-time job just to pay off that debt. That ain't nothing. I wish I did. I wish someone did say it was $10,000. I would be. I'll have that paid off at least within 2 years. I sure would. I would do something part-time. I'll do my little gig work on the side, and I'll just put that whole thing would be just for that. And boom, boom, boom. Debt snowball. That's why I don't be trying to have no credit cards. I charge something on a credit card, I immediately pay it off. I don't let no credit card go over some large, huge amount. That never. I don't think I've ever been in that predicament of having a large credit card debt. My sister, she be having credit card debt. I said, you still got credit card debt? I'm like, I don't know what she be doing. I know sometimes people charge because they need to pay bills and they do the credit card thing, but that I would never get in that trap. You ever see the interest rate on those credit cards? 28, 23%, 28%, all kind of crazy stuff. No, like I said, me with student loans, I wish I never put myself in that trap like that. Now I did pay off undergrad, most of undergrad. Before I consolidated, I paid off Perkins loan. I paid that loan, but when I went to that undergrad and then you keep paying and, putting on a forbearance and interest is just accruing, it's just, who knew? But you know what? You live and you learn. And I really believe that I know some people who said, I paid my student loans. Why should they get, people be jealous, if I pay my student loans off, people shouldn't get those debt forgiven. People be trying to hate, And the ones I hear say stuff like that, usually white folks, already had an advantage anyway. And hey, C. Henner, and some people they don't have no extra, no large sums of student loans, They'll be talking that crap. I paid my student. First of all, they didn't pay their student loans. Their parents paid it off. You say, how much was your student loan? They not gonna tell you it's like $5,000. Some real, small amount. Anybody who got like, 6-figure student loan debt, even if it was like 60, 70, 80,000, 90, whatever. Especially if you go to graduate school of some sort. Even if you went to graduate school, people go and get these degrees and it costs so much. Even if you had you hear these stories all the time. You know, they said this high school student, she got $1 million worth of she got $1 million worth of scholarships and blah, blah, blah. First of all, you don't even get, even if you got that much money in scholarships, you may be able to use that when you're an undergrad. But don't you know, and I'm going to talk about this on my tax topics when I start talking about it on my other channel. So I'm going to start doing, I'm not going to do live streaming on my other channel, TPS Tax Consultant. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do that on snippets. And part of my project of starting my website, because, you know, with this generation, the good thing is I'll finally be able to have a professional looking website. So that's one of my projects I'm going to do. And I'm going to start. So once that's all finished, y'all, so look for it in a few months. When I start learning web development and things like that. I ain't talking about no little WordPress either. I ain't talking about one of those things. I'm talking about a real website that got interactive and the whole 9 yards. And part of the things, and this is going to be a topic that I'm going to discuss. You know that, because one thing I was learning when I was doing TurboTax, you know, just because so many people get these scholarships and all this money, you know, that's taxable income. There are some rules on that. You know, there's some rules to that. You know, it's good to have scholarships. It's good, but you know, some of those fellowships and things that people get, you got to report that, and then you don't get the education credit and all that stuff. So, but that's a whole new topic. I know I was only going to talk about this one thing, and that's it. I'm not going to go on the rampant because I don't want to get lost in the video of what I was talking about. So go back, hit the rewind, and I went over a good overview of it. And then I'll put in the chat, I also put the link of the article that talked about it. And if you are in that situation and you worked for a nonprofit, federal agency, state teacher, and you had payments and made payments in the past, you may qualify for that public service student loan waiver forgiveness. It just started yesterday. They just announced it yesterday. So the loan service providers that you have your loans from, they're not going to have the answers yet because they're going to tell you, we don't have any information yet. We weren't provided the information yet. It's the same thing you read. So they just working on that now. So you may get a letter in the mail and then you will be notified about it and they'll tell you. So I'm going to wait for my letter. I'm going to wait for my stuff to come through the mail. And, I will give you an update as to what happened. If they tell me something and says it's been forgiven, you had 10 years, 120 payments, I'll be so happy. I'll be like, thank you, Jesus. You know? Now, I don't know the tax implications yet. I will talk about that. So I will be following up on this student loans, and I'm going to follow up on some other things. So as it gets closer to the end of the year, around, it's October, November, December, I'm going to start doing my series. And also, my other channel, TPS Tax, if y'all want to subscribe to that, just go on over there. I'm going to start doing more videos and build up my second channel. Now, I know typically most people who work in the gig economy, a lot of people who in the gig when gig economy, Uber and Uber Eats, Grubhub, see, they always be these people who make you have a YouTube channel. All of a sudden, they're going to start, you could do taxes and you could write off. And they start talking about stuff. and they keep saying the same thing over and over. I'm not trying to help the basic tax preparer, because if you really be honest, you could plug and play and do it yourself. I want to go more advanced in terms of like tax planning, and let me see the fun. Oh, it was some company too that they said they're not going to service the student loan anymore. It was going to be some new provider. I can't remember who mine was supposed to go through. I can't remember. I know I got something about that too. But it's. All right, I'm back. Yeah, they sold my contract too. I don't know who it is. So they said it's gonna be to a qualifying loan provider, but they didn't say who was gonna be first, so I don't know. So I got the same thing with going on with you, C Henner. But yeah, go to that. Oops, I missed out the damn S. Hold on. Go to the website I put in the chat, and it's going to talk about that waiver. It's very limited, so click on the link inside. It's from the studentaid.gov, and it's the announcements about that forgiveness. So it outlines everything what I said, but this is going to be more for y'all to read. You don't pay nobody. I'm gonna say this one more time. Don't let nobody call you on the phone and offer you, oh, we could do it, and you just pay us $200. You don't pay for nothing. You don't pay for this. Don't pay nobody for no information. Don't go on nobody's YouTube channel and they start talking crazy about we do a master class and we could give you a consultation on the phone. No. See, this is what makes me so mad about people. I know people there to make money, I mean, even when I do taxes and stuff, so I have one client basically, and sometimes some people may not have the time, they may not have the time, they may not have the equipment, they may not have whatever. But information like this, student loans and how to give it forgiven and what kind of plan you could go into, you don't need to pay nobody to do that. You don't need to pay anyone no master class about this. I'm telling you, I just know for a fact. It's because millions and millions and millions of people are in student loans that somebody on this damn YouTube is gonna come up here and make up some master class and they're gonna do, I can do a consultation, $50 an hour, $200. And some people, y'all, now I can say y'all, because I know y'all, if y'all my subscribers, y'all come on here and listen to me, y'all don't fool for the okey doke. Y'all may go to Drive Her CEO and who else? And some of these other people out there. I ain't saying they run no scam, but some people be doing a little bit too much. A little bit too much. It's $150. It's $49. I give you a list of mystery shopping companies. And you can do mystery shopping and just take this master class. I understand it's different if you consolidating information and you putting in a nice little booklet and you have information that people could just buy on Amazon if or you give them a little ebook and it has all the information that people could just scroll through it. Now, if it takes you time to build up books, ebooks, because I signed up for this thing where I could do free ebooks. I haven't figured out how to use it yet because I've been doing so much. I'm going to do a ebook, but my ebook is not going to be something like this. Let me tell you about the student loans and this. No, all you need to do is to go to the studentaid.gov website, and you could get all the free information that you want. Most of the time, people are paying for information that's free. Now, taxes and things like that could be a little bit cumbersome. And I could see where you may pay a tax preparer and say, okay, you know what? I got Schedule C, I got Schedule A, I got a real estate, I got this, that, and another. I got this, and I need help with the letters. I need help contact, stuff like that. Like if somebody said, I need help, I got this letter, and I try to call the IRS, you be on the phone for 3-4 hours. Whereas if someone has a letter and they don't understand, okay, if I got power of attorney and somebody signed and say I could speak on your behalf and I could contact the IRS, or I could write a letter, or I could go over what you need to do and reevaluate, that takes time. That's time. That ain't something for free. Some of y'all, some of y'all that came on my channel 3-4 years ago when I started doing taxes and start talking about taxes. Some of you, and I did a little thing about the different tax, not so much straight write-offs, but how to organize, what you could write off and explain certain things that most people would charge. I did it for free. I've been doing stuff for free. I ain't asked for no super chat. I ain't asked for no cash app. I ain't did none of that. Some people say, "Oh, let me write you," and they write me a letter or they write me an email, and I'll answer their questions. I'll talk to them on the phone. I'll give them advice and tell them what you need to do. And even about that PPP loan in the Ely grant. I showed y'all how to go to it. I showed y'all what they look for. I said, this is where you go. This is how you apply. And some people got the $1,000. Some people didn't get it. And then I asked them, I said, well, some people mail the tax return. I said, oh, shoot. I said, why did you e-file it? And then I said, well, just e-file it because the IRS is already behind in processing paper returns. So, I walk people through it. Y'all, someone call me on the phone or I talk on the phone. I'll walk you through it. Did I get anything? Nope. Did I expected anything? Nope. But there's some people they be having thousands of subscribers and they be trying to make a master class out of every little thing. How you make a master class out of PPP loan? And then some people, so I tell people all the time, when you went and got your taxes done, what did you do? Did you do Uber? How long? 2 years, 3 years? Did you get the PPP grant or the Ely loan? No, I ain't knew about that. See, you paid somebody $500 and you missed out on getting that grant. The first thing I would have, the first thing you always ask a person is, when you did your tax return last year, did you get any? And you worked at Uber, especially the ones I know that be doing Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, and they do it for a year, and they've done it for a year and a half, and they don't even have to be those gig work apps. Did you get a 1099? Were you self-employed? Or did you work from home, doing whatever? Yeah. And then after that, my income dried up. See, you could have got that. I got my little $15,000. And I wasn't going to tell y'all at first. I wasn't going to tell nobody. I said, no, I keep that a secret. But I said, you know what? It's been months. I got the full $15,000. Now, the $5,000, you had to live in a certain area on the map. And I know I went over that. If you didn't fall within that low income, there ain't no more low income than Stone Mountain in DeKalb County in Georgia. I tell you that. And yep, I sure did qualify for it, and I got the other 5,000. And people was like, "Oh, congratulations, you got." I said, "Thank you," but everybody, most people, I knew qualified to get it. They didn't do it. They didn't follow through. They didn't, they was doing stuff that people how you pay someone $500 to do your tax return, and they didn't even do due diligence to even say, oh, let me tell you about the people, let me tell you about the Ely grant. You qualified and you got their tax information. You did their tax return. You supposedly did their Schedule A, Schedule C, and saw they got a 1099, the address, and you didn't tell nobody. You see, that's how you know people are not up to date. You could tell when people are not up to date and giving you information you may be qualified. Even if you didn't do the application, the fact that you could tell someone, you qualify for this, just go to this website and you have their tax return. You just walk them through the return. It was a simple little thing. You just answer some questions and then file the return. And then they got contacted by the SBA, and they'll tell them, oh, you need your tax return transcript 4506T. Send that in, make a copy of the driver's license front and back, send it to this email to the underwriter. And, they have the information from the IRS website, and they'll look at your income, and it's okay, it's 30% lower. They got your address. All you do is put it on a map. Okay, you qualify for the $5,000. Blah, blah, blah. It wasn't no hard, difficult process. It really wasn't. As long as you filed that tax return and you was a 1099, and it had to be Uber Eats and Grubhub and all that. It could have been any 1099 independent gig job. And y'all know I did. Y'all know I worked from home as an independent contractor, working from home, taking those calls for those infomercials. I did that, and all the food deliveries and the survey.com, and I was doing that, and I fell within the period of time. And I know a lot of y'all on YouTube qualified, but y'all didn't get it. Y'all got, I don't know. But thank you, Blue True. But it's not a blessing. That was a government fund. It's a blessing, but it was government funds that was spilled out, but those who were impacted with COVID because of these gig work. I'm not even talking about unemployment. I'm just talking about Ely grant and the PPP. I tell people, I said, don't mess with that PPP loan. I said, no. Some people, they did it, but I told them, I said, don't mess with that. And then if you did get the PPP loan, it would have been forgiven. And I would have went over that. But some people ain't get nothing. They didn't get not one nickel or dime. And I know for a fact, if I did your tax return, first of all, I wouldn't charge $300, $400, $500. I would have probably charged like $300. But next year I got to charge $350. Dorian, I'm not doing you that way, so don't worry, Dorian, because I do Dorian. I'll keep your price the same. Eventually, I'll probably not even charge you, but you keep giving me the money anyway. But and I include that price with the state too. But I'm talking when I say $300, I'm talking about if I had to do a Schedule C, and I gotta comb through all your records and put up all your mileage because you didn't keep track of it. That's what I'm talking about. But it's still gonna be way much cheaper. If you went to H&R Block and went to Walmart and do it, I tell you that they ain't charging no $200, $150 and stuff. They ain't doing that. If it's that price, it's a simple return. A simple return, meaning you could have got the software and do it yourself. But some people just don't want to do it. Some people, whether it be time, whether they don't have the resources or whatever the case may be. But that $1 trillion Relief Act, that little bit of money they was given to gig workers or independent contractors. I mean, $15,000 is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm not grateful, but I applied. I followed through. They said, okay, I kept track of all my income. I reported all my income. Clearly, my income dropped from what I did before in the current year. And they set aside that trillions and trillions of dollars, that little small piece of the pie. That's only a small piece of the pie. When they was giving $10,000, if you had, as a sole proprietor, the extra $5,000 if you were low income areas, housing assistance, when people had, they couldn't pay their rent, they had housing assistance. People, you could apply to get assistance to pay your rent. People didn't even follow through. And if they did follow through, they got the money and didn't even pay the rent to the landlord. And you kept that. You got the small business because as a landlord, you're a small business owner. People lost their house because the tenant didn't pay the rent, but yet they got the money. And then when they try to tell the person to go through the government to apply, some of them didn't apply because some people be running the scam. They be trying to get all this food stamps, government assistance, and they don't want the government to know that they had got, they were doing extra stuff, knowing damn well that they're going to catch you, knowing well you're going to get caught, So when they come up with these government programs, aid, assistance and stuff like that, you paid for it. You paid through your taxes. So I've been paying, if I had to add up how much money I paid in my whole lifetime of tax, I probably paid millions and millions of dollars of taxes, federal, state, not even including states. When you count all the money that you paid in taxes. So when they give you a grant and say, oh, here you go, $10,000. You know how much money I paid in tax? I probably paid 10 billion times more than that. It's a blessing. Yes, it is, Blue Troop. It's a blessing. But my point is that if you paid someone to do your tax return and they didn't, and you got a Schedule C and you were doing this gig work or, whatever it may be, it don't have to be the major ones, and they didn't tell you about it, and you didn't get it, that person did not do you no favor. If I had a bunch of clients and they was doing it, I would have told them. I would say, oh, you know, you can get the Ely grant, right? You ain't got to be no PPP loan either. You would have got $10,000, and then if you live in low income, it would have been $5,000. I wouldn't even ask. I wouldn't charge nobody for that. All I ask is if you want me to do your return, and I did it, and you paid me, I would have got it. That would have been all of that would have been included in the consultation. I would have sat down. Even if you needed, you know, so what I'm going to start doing, if you want to do it yourself, that's fine. If you need questions answered, what I'm going to do is going to be my own little mini call center to answer people questions. If they get stuck doing a tax return, or if you need help about how to get, you know, what software to use, or whatever the case may be, you know. Small nominal fee. And the only reason why I'm going to ask for a fee is because I have to pay for the license. It's like $10,000 plus. It's not cheap. So if I ask for consultation fees, all that's going to be used to grow my business finally. You know, because it's not cheap to, you know. It's not cheap to get the licenses to go on the computer and have the software, you know. Because even me working at TurboTax, if I wanted to buy and do, like, say, 500 tax returns, I have to pay for that. I have to pay TurboTax thousands of dollars to get the license to do 500 returns, you know, electronically, and the state. That's a lot of money, you know, and ain't no telling what they charge now, because I ain't no telling what they charge for that now. But if you do it yourself, I say, okay, you know, just you don't got to go to Walmart and buy the TurboTax disc. You know, you could go on the server. You go to Turbo, and then at the end, when you finish, depending on which forms you filled out, they'll tell you how much it is, 300 something, you know. But a lot of people, like I tell you, when I did TurboTax last year, you know, this past tax season, a lot of people are sitting up there at nighttime stuck. Well, I got, you know, especially if you have dividends and stocks and stuff, the more forms you have, the more is charged. And a lot of people, you know, I've been on the phone trying to guide them. You can't even see your screen, you know, and then you got to guide them and what to put in. Do you got the form? So, you know, TurboTax, if they do it themselves, you download the paperwork. See, they didn't put me as full service, you know, and then they come back and say, okay, it's 300. You know, I don't know how much it is. It's probably more than that. It depends. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap either. It ain't free. Put it that way. Nobody does nothing for free. And a few years ago, there was a couple of y'all, not y'all on here now. I'm talking about when people were jumping on my channel. They were trying to get information. They were trying to get free information. Well, I got this and I got this on this line. And what's that? What did I do here? Taking up all my time. Getting free information. And knowing darn well that if they had went down to the Jackson Hewitt or H&R Block or Liberty Tax Service with the same information in the same forms, they would have charged them. You know, they sure would have. I'm not VITA. VITA is the Volunteer Income Tax. It's a grant that they give to nonprofit organizations to do tax returns for free. You had to meet within a certain income level. You could not have a Schedule C. You couldn't be itemized. It was a basic, plain 1040 EZ form. You just have W-2s and that's it. They go in there and type it in. Bloop, finish. Here you go. And it's free. And you have to be, your income had to be below a certain amount, and you could not have additional forms. But that's something that's free. You ain't gotta pay nobody hundreds and hundreds of that. Sometimes you could do a tax return on the snap of your phone, take a picture, and it'll calculate everything. Boom, that's it. Finish. You just have to figure out why you owe, Why ain't getting a refund? I said, because you ain't paying enough taxes and withholding. You only paid $200 in taxes on 15, on 25, $30,000 taxable income. You ain't paid enough taxes. People don't understand that. You know, wow. You can't make $65,000 a year minus the, taxable income and pay only $800, and you ain't paying enough. You be trying to tell people the most simplest thing, and they want to argue. They'll get mad. And I said, well, I asked them, I say, is this the first time you're doing your tax return? No. I always had my mama do it or something. They always had somebody else do it. And I'd be like, you 20-something years old. I was doing my own tax return the minute I had got me a job. And this was back in the day when it was paper and pen. They ain't had no computers doing no tax return like that. Not like they used to do it. You had the book. You had to go to the library. You get the book, the form. And you had to go and find, you had to fill out the paper line by line. And then you got to find single column, look at your income, and then you put that number in this block. Shoo. I did that by paper and pen. Paper and pen. Tax returns were not always electronically filed. So, I don't know. But, anywho, I didn't want to be long. I've been on here long, 2 hours. I don't want my message to get lost in the whole thing what I was talking about. But please, do not. I'm going to say this because I don't know. Maybe other people will put student loans in their title and they may come across my channel. Do not pay someone information that's free. Let me say this one more time and then I'm going to go. Do not pay anybody for this type of information that's free. Please go to the website. I'll put it in the link or the description box. It's also in the chat. And I will give you a follow-up as to what my status would be about these student loans. Hopefully those years of working at the IRS and all those years would count and I could finally get out of these student loans. Finally. If not, and they tell me I have something number of years ago, I'm going to start my own nonprofit organization, and I'm going to find me someplace full time, something real easy, and work somewhere at some state agency or nonprofit organization, and I will serve my time doing that because I know it's not going to be 10 years. I know I ain't got no 10 years to remain. I know I got no 10 more years to do this. I know it's going to be less. I don't know how much more, but I hope it's I hope I serve my time, or at least a good chunk of the time, and then I'll go from there. But I'll let y'all know what happened. But please follow up if you're in this category. Click on the links in the articles and don't pay nobody for the information. Don't let nobody tell you get a master class. Don't let them tell you that. Let me give you some information. You can just pay for it. $15. I don't care if it's 10 cents. It's free. But somebody, I'm telling y'all, somebody gonna do it. Somebody gonna make up some YouTube video. They're gonna be all fancy with the editing, and they're gonna sit up in there and tell people stupid stuff. I already know it. And people are going to be like, oh, I could help you eliminate. If you got $25,000, $50,000, I could eliminate that. You just pay me $200 and I'll do it for you. There ain't nothing you need to do. The government, if you a federal, state, you already had a student loan public service forgiveness and you qualified. Even if they did it 1 year, they already got you in the system. They'll be notifying you in the letter. They're going to be notifying you in a letter or email. And they'll let you know. So, all right. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. I don't know, because hopefully Amazon don't have no VTO tomorrow because they said that they had no work. So they asked people to go home early, and I took advantage of it. So, but I'll work tomorrow. If they say, "Oh, we ain't got no more work. You want to go home?" I'm gonna say, "Nope. I'm gonna stand there and do that little bit of work they got left. And if I gotta sit there all night, I'm gonna do that." These nuts. You just coming on. All right. Did you read my email? Because you sent me an email and I responded back to you sometime today. It wasn't that long ago either. Anyway, I'll give y'all follow up as to what happened, but please let me have time put in for these student loans so I can get out of this debt. I would be so happy if I could get out of this debt sooner than I need to. I'm trying to live my life not under no financial slavery of student loans. And if I could get rid of that, I could be, by the time I turn 60, before I turn 60, which is 7 more years from next month, my birthday, November 18th, I'll be 53. And if I could, God willing, I get out of my 50s with no debt and, I could finally free myself up to do a lot of different things that I want to do. Because when I get down in my 60s or so, I'm not trying to be working forever. I'm not going to work in no Walmart. I'm not going to be working as nothing. I ain't doing it. Nope. I will not. If I work, it's because I want to, but I'm trying to wind down. I'm trying to put myself in a position where I can get to travel. I can get to, do everything I want to do. If it's even sitting out in my backyard, just sitting there chilling and relaxing and traveling and meeting some of y'all, that's what I want to do. All right, I'm about to go. All right, bye D Nuts, bye True Blue, Blue True, C Henner, Sally, Colas, Dorian, Sharky Felt. Who else is on here? It's none of y'all, but I don't, I only see 3, but 4 people, like Shelly Shell, Du jour. Ow. All right. Romeo, you lurking in the background at the last minute. All right, go ahead, hit the thumbs up. I know y'all. Hopefully this information provides valuable to those who need to know. And this is kind of still new. So, it's still coming out from the Department of Education and the government because it just came out yesterday. So that's a good thing. And see, Henner, I don't know who's going to be taking up these student loans, but they sure told me mine was being sold off. So it's not surprising when there's economic downturn like it is that a lot of these banks be selling off the mortgage and they be selling off student loans because, that's how all that has to do with the debt and these mortgage being. I ain't responding because I'm not even, my phone is still charging. So, yep. Yeah, all these mortgage backup loans and stuff, is they selling it, because all the government is buying back these loans. And it's a whole lot to that. It's an explanation, but I don't want to go into it. That's going to be that's a whole new discussion altogether. That's a whole new thing. I won't be surprised if Wells Fargo decide to sell mortgage. They got mortgages and people, they try to sell it. I won't be surprised Now, most of that's gonna, let me say this one last point, then I'm gonna go. Most of the time, if you have a mortgage with a small looking bank, and it's not like Bank of America or Wells Fargo, which is a crook. My mother said Wells Fargo is a nut, but a crook in the last real estate downturn. If it's like one of those small banks that you never hear of and they got the mortgage, don't be surprised they sell the mortgage to someone else. That's what starts to happen during when stuff started going on like it is now. People start selling the backup loans, mortgage, student loans. They start selling it off. So I don't know, Sally. I know you said hope it's not Sally Mae, but you can't control it because it ain't gonna be. It's not too many people that's gonna be carrying. That's gonna hold that loan. So I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, y'all have a good night. Bye.